Good day, grade 10s. This is day 27. We are still busy with chapter 4 equations. Today we are doing letter equations. So letter equations are the ones that have only letters or mostly letters, and I just have to make one of the letters the subject of the equation. So I'm going to explain some questions and some examples, and then you're going to press pause and do the exercise 6, and after that you can play again and mark the exercise with me. So I have, for the first one, solve for x. mx plus p is equal to q. So they're asking me to solve for x. I have to get x alone. So the first thing that I want to get rid of is the p. I'm going to take the p to the other side. Then I have mx is equal to q minus p. Now the x is multiplied with the m, so I want the m to go away. I'm going to divide it on the other side, so it's going to be q minus p divided by m, and there I have x alone. Okay, for the next question, they ask me, I have a is equal to pi, and in brackets, capital R squared minus r squared. Make r the subject of the formula. Okay, so small r. Okay, so not capital R, small r. So I'm going to say, first thing that I want to get rid of is the pi. So let me just write the equation again. A is equal to pi, and in brackets, capital R squared minus r squared. Okay, I want little r to be alone. Okay, so first I'm going to get rid of the pi. A over pi, because I divide by pi, it was multiplied on the other side, so I divide by pi on this side is equal to r squared minus r squared. Okay, so capital R squared minus r squared. Now to get rid of the capital R squared, I'm going to minus it on the other side. I have a minus pi minus capital R squared is equal to negative little r squared. Okay, so to get rid of this negative in front of little r squared, I'm going to divide by negative on the other side. So I have negative, and in brackets, I over pi minus capital R squared is equal to little r squared. Now I multiply this negative in. So it's going to be negative a over pi plus capital R squared is equal to little r squared. Now there's still this squared that's bothering me. I want to get rid of that. So what's the opposite of squared again? It's a square root. So it's going to be the square root of, what did I have? R squared, capital R squared over minus a over pi. All of that in a square root. Now solve for x is the next question. The first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to multiply in. So I'm going to say 2 times x is 2x, 2 times a is 2a. B times x is bx, b times negative a is negative ab, or ba. Now, I have x's on both sides of the equation. When I have x's on both sides, I want to take them all to the one side. So I'm going to say 2x minus bx is equal to negative ba minus 2a. Okay, so first, now I'm going to factorize the left hand side, take out an x. So I have 2 minus b is equal to, then I take out, then I just leave the other side, negative ba minus 2a. To get x alone, I'm going to divide by that whole bracket, because that bracket is multiplied with the x. So I'm going to take it to the other side and divide it. So it's going to be negative ba minus 2a over 2 minus b. If I want to, I can take out the negative a at the top, but it's not necessary. I have negative a, and in brackets b plus 2 over 2 minus b. Okay, I'm going to do some more examples now. So if you're ready, you can do exercise 6, or you can just listen on to get more examples. Okay, I'm going to do some more examples now. Okay, the first one is make A the subject. Okay, so the question is V is equal to U plus AT. Okay, so first I'm going to take over the U and it becomes V minus U is equal to AT. I want to make A the subject, so I'm going to divide by that T. V minus U over T is equal to A. Right, so A is V minus U over T. Doesn't matter which way around you have it. Now, this second example here is A is equal to pi r squared. And they're asking us to make R the subject. Okay, so A is over pi. First I divide by pi on the other side and then I get r squared. Then the squared is still a problem for me, so I get rid of that by getting the square root of the whole thing on the other side. So it's going to be the square root of A over pi is equal to little r. Okay, that was the first and the second example. Now the third example. The third example is about pressure and volume in physics. So pressure, volume and temperature in physics. Okay, so this is the formula. We have P1 times V1 over T1 is equal to P2 times V2 over T2. Okay, so they're asking us to make V1 the subject. Okay, so first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take the T1 over and multiply it on the other side. So it's going to be P2 times V2 times T1 over T2. Then I want V1 alone, so the P1 is still bothering me. I'm going to divide with the P1 on the other side. So I have P2 times V2 times T1 divided by T2 and now also divided by P1. Okay. Okay, those are the examples. Now you can do exercise 6. Pause the video. When you've done exercise 6, you can just come press play again and we mark it together. Welcome back. We are at exercise 6. Hopefully you've done it by now. Let's go. Number A2. We have to make S the subject of the equation. So I have V squared is equal to U squared plus 2AS. Okay, I want S to be the subject. So first I'm going to minus the U squared on the other side. Then I have 2AS left. If I want S alone, the 2A is still bothering me. So I'm going to divide by 2A on the other side. I have V squared minus U squared divided by 2A. And then I have S alone. Okay, number B is asking us to solve for x. Okay, so I have 3ax is equal to 2bx plus c. Okay, in the examples we learned that when I have x on both sides of the equation, I want to take it all to the one side. So it's going to be 3ax minus 2bx is equal to c. Then I take out the x on the left hand side. So I have x and in brackets 3a minus 2b is equal to c. To get x alone, I want to divide by the whole bracket 3a minus 2b because it was multiplied, so it's going to be c divided by 3a minus 2b. And that's x alone. Number B3, I have ax squared plus bx is equal to 0. First thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take out an x. So x and in brackets ax plus b is equal to 0. So this is like when I have a quadratic equation, then what I want to do is I have two brackets equal to 0 and then set each equal to 0 separately. So actually I have two brackets. The one is the x and the other is ax plus b. I'm going to set them equal to 0 separately. X is equal to 0 or ax plus b is equal to 0. So for this one we're going to have two answers for x. So ax is then equal to negative b, and then I divide by the a to get x alone. So it's negative b over a. Okay, so those are the two answers for that one. Number C3. Number C, they say, make the variable that's written in brackets after the formula the subject of the formula. Okay, so I'm going to make, in this case, the question is f is equal to mv squared over gr, and I have to make g the subject of the equation. Okay, so first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply with gr on the other side. So it's going to be f times gr is equal to mv squared. Now this f and r is still bothering me because I want g alone. So I'm going to divide by that on the other side. So I have mv squared divided by fr. And that's it. I have little g alone. Number D, 1 over u plus 1 over v is equal to 1 over f. And they want v to be the subject of the equation. Now, if you can remember, when I have equations with fractions, I have to get the LCD. So the LCD in this case will be UVF. Okay. Now I'm going to make all the denominators UVF. And I ask myself, what do I multiply U with to get to UVF? With a V and F. Okay. Then what do I multiply V with to get to the LCD? With a U and a F. So it's going to be UF over UVF. Then what do I multiply F with to get to UVF? With UV. So it's going to be UV. Now I have all the denominators the same. Can you remember what happens when I have all the denominators the same? Yes, I can throw them away. So I'm only left with VF plus UF is equal to UV. Okay, what did they want again? They wanted V to be the subject. Okay, so I have V's on both sides of the equation. From previous questions, we learned that we have to bring all the V's to the one side of the equation. So it's going to be VF minus UV is equal to negative UF. Then I take out a common factor V. I'm left with F minus U, and on the other side negative UF. I want V alone, so that bracket needs to be divided on the other side. If V is alone, I have negative UF divided by F minus U. If I want to, I can leave it just like that, but if I want to, I can get rid of that negative in front of UF, and I divide by negative and I get UF is equal to UF over U minus F. Okay, that's it. Then number E2, V squared is equal to U squared plus 2AS. Okay, so V squared, I want to make U the subject. So I have to take the 2AS over. I have V squared minus 2AS is equal to U squared. Then there's still a squared that's bothering me. So I'm going to get the square root on the other side. I have the square root of V squared minus 2AS. And then I have U alone. And that's it for today. If you have any questions, email your teacher.